channel and back to my kitchen. Today I thought I would make a fun Sunday recipe with you. I was in the mood for something sweet, so I decided that we're going to make some chocolate chip cookies together. I usually do my Sunday meal prep on Sundays, but I was in the mood for health food. So let's do something fun together to wrap up the weekend. I've had a really fun time today with my friend, and I'm so excited to talk to you about it as we go through my chocolate chip cookie essentials. There's so many different recipes you could possibly do. I find most of my recipes on Pinterest, and specifically, I really enjoy a cakey, chewy cookie. So I gravitate towards something that's a little denser, chunkier, and, you know, fluffy as opposed to a crispy, small cookie. And there's a few tricks to achieve this. You need generally a higher flour to butter ratio, but you also need to let your cookies rest. The number one top tip I can give you to make better baked goods is to allow your flour to fully hydrate. You need to let all of the liquids, like your eggs and your butter, get absorbed into the flour, and then your cakes and cookies will be a lot fluffier and denser. Otherwise, when you just go to put them in the oven, the liquids instantly kind of melt and sploosh out in the oven, and you get much flatter cookies. So we are going to hydrate these for at least overnight. So today we're going to be making the cookie dough. I think optimally you will wait 48 hours before you bake them in the oven. So I make the dough one day, and then a few days later I'll actually bake the cookies. So we're going to be making my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe today, and that is this giant chocolate chip cookie recipe on Pinterest. Trust me, I have tried a bunch of chocolate chip cookie recipes, and this one by far is my favorite. So definitely recommend that. I will leave this linked in the comment section. I'm still, learning YouTube Live, but as we go, I'll get better at it. If anyone knows how to link stuff in the live chat, let me know. But if you were to just Google best giant chocolate chip recipe on Pinterest, you'll get it. So first things first, please put your hair back. No one wants your long princess hair in the cookies. So we got that sorted. And then, of course, my favorite apron. If you watched my other cooking video, you'll know that my mom got me this apron. Clearly, she knows her audience. I like to joke, if it's pink and glittery, it is for me. And this apron is just so adorable. Look at it, it's like a little skirt. I found this one on Etsy, actually. So if you guys are interested in it, I can link that in the after notes as well for the chat. Okay, I always start with my wet ingredients for baking. So let's get on with the delicious buttery sugariness that is, what's it called? Chocolate chip cookies. Also, the joke's on me. Whenever you go to a recipe on Pinterest, there's a long vlog section about how to make the recipe. And I would always spend 5 hours scrolling through it. And I recently just learned that there's a button that says jump to recipe, and you can scroll up past this. So, new learnings for me. That's all right, though. So, my recipe called for a full cup of butter. And I like to use this thing. This is called Earth Balance. It's fake butter, basically. But I don't eat dairy. I'm a bit allergic to it, so I use the vegan butter instead. I don't notice any difference. I've made cookies for so many different people, and no one else notices that I'm using vegan butter. So I'm a big fan. This is the Earth Balance buttery sticks. I actually prefer the one in the red container that's soy free, but again, no one notices in the cookies. So you're going to want to liquefy that if your butter's not at room temperature, but I cheated before I went live with you guys. I already liquefied my butter, so that's all set. We have a cup of softened butter done, and I'm going to mix up the rest of my wet ingredients in this container. And I'll have my wet ingredients in this little one, and then the dry ingredients in this big one, and we'll fold them in together when they're ready. So let's see. I need a teaspoon of vanilla extract, I am very generous with vanilla. It's one of my favorite flavorings. I'm using this one right now. It's not personally my favorite. I've had better ones, but this is another Madagascar vanilla. Very yummy. So when it says a teaspoon, I will pour in the teaspoon and just kind of forget to stop once it hits the top to get a little extra sauciness in there. So, all right, we got our vanilla. And now we need 2 eggs. These are large eggs. If you're doing some very precise baking, I think it does matter like what size eggs you choose, because if you're making, I don't know, something like a macaron, you really need to be specific on, the quantities of your wet and dry ingredients, but it doesn't matter, no one cares. It's just a chocolate chip cookie. So, oh dear, let's not get a shell in on YouTube Live, guys. No. Clunk. Here's one. Let's get another one. And 2. See, that one looked like I knew how to crack an egg. Good for me. We have 2 eggs. This recipe does also call for walnuts. I don't believe walnuts belong in a chocolate chip cookie, but listen, live your life if you want to put a walnut in a cookie. This is not necessary. You can use a whisk, you can use a fork. Doesn't much matter to me. I think it's just easier to use a fork, so we're going to use that today. I hope you all have had a wonderfully fun weekend. I've had a great time. I always know my Sunday scaries are proportional to how fun of a weekend I've had. If I have a wonderful weekend, then I kind of dread Monday coming up. So it's a little unfortunate that I have to go back to my cubicle tomorrow, but it means I've had a fun time the rest of the weekend. Okay, so that's all mixed. That's good. What was I gonna do next? Gotta get our dry ingredients in the bigger bowl. And I think it's very essential that you sift your flour. My mother would say this is overkill. However, I think it's very important to achieve like an instant, like a even consistency for the cookie. So please, please, please do sift your flour. Otherwise you get these like just gross chunks in your cookie and it's not fun. So let me get my sifter. I've got this baby guy over here. So what does it say? It says 2 2/3 cups of all-purpose flour. And I will suggest actually follow the ingredients and the quantities required. My mom always loves to like skip it as if it's optional to add in certain ingredients. She likes to kind of go with the flow in baking. And I suggest going with the flow for cooking. But with baked goods, I find they need a little more chemistry involved, All right, there's one, and I just use a little knife to level myself out. And we just kind of tap that in to get all the flour bubbles out. Not bubbles, but clumpiness, So today my friend and I went on a bike ride down in Newport, and it was just so beautiful. I was a little sad initially because it was raining on us, but luckily the rain was just in patches. So it would like rain for 5 seconds and then it would stop. So we still got to like bike around and have fun and look at the pretty houses and explore. And we made some like really pretty videos as well of us, gallivanting. We had gone down there to see an art installation, which a few of my friends had been at. It was just a, free art installation at a university there. And I always love, pop-up cultural things that you can go to for free. There's usually a lot happening in town in the summer. Rhode Island's a very fun place to live in the summer. In the winter, it does get a little quiet, though, unfortunately. All right, we were almost done with the white powder. Can you make cupcakes? Yes. Oh my gosh, I can make cupcakes. They are my favorite thing to make. Write in the chat your favorite kind, because if you don't tell me what kind you want me to make, I'm just gonna make my favorite, which is red velvet. I had a cupcake decorating party with my friends a few weeks ago. So I had pre-baked like a bunch of cakes and put out different icings. And then we just sat around, listened to music, had snacks, and decorated our cute cakes together. Okay, that's our flour done. And what I think makes these cookies very fluffy, gooey, and cakey is actually the cornstarch. I don't think you need fancy ingredients to bake. I always get just the generic version from Whole Foods because Whole Foods is the closest grocery store to me, so it's easier. And I just get like whatever cheapest ingredients that they have in terms of the generic kind. So 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which feels like a lot, but it does help it stay floofier in the dough. And I think it's best that we measure these two. I think around the holidays, I made my favorite cookie recipe ever. It was a red velvet cookie with icing on it. Ooh, that was so good. I always know it's gone well if there are no leftovers. You know, basically the whole family devoured them, so I knew I did a good job. All right, cornstarch in, and now we gotta do some baking powder. So baking powder and baking soda are different. I think depending on what you want, you know, there are different kind of leaveners that lift up the cakes and cookies. When I'm making pancakes, cookies, or cakes, I tend to use both actually because I think it helps it get fluffier, and this recipe does tell us to use both, so I agree. Sometimes I don't listen to the recipe though. And we're gonna put 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Dunk. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon baking soda. Very precise. So 4 of the little guys are gonna go in there. One, 2, 3. Okay, that's done. And now it says 3/4 teaspoon baking soda. So again, I think it's just fake news. We're going to not listen. We're just going to put a sprinkle of salt in because I don't really like a salty cookie. I get it if you're the type of person who likes salt and sugar together. I don't. Like, I'll see cookies with chunks of sea salt on top. If it's your thing, okay, it's not mine. But I'm just going to put like a teeny bit in because I know I don't like it very much. But it does help the flavors come out, so it is worth it to put a little pinch in. And now we need our brown sugar. So I got 2 different types for you guys. I already had this dark brown sugar, and I also had to get light brown sugar because I was almost out. I think I would prefer you to use a dark one. I find it more flavorful. I don't know what makes one darker than the other. Maybe more molasses. But I prefer the taste of a cookie that's made with the darker, what's it called? And we need 3/4 cup packed. So when I do this, I just kind of take it with my palm inside the container and just squish it in there a little bit. 1, half a cup of normal sugar. I forgot to take that out. Hang on. Did I have the half scoop out? No. What is your guys' favorite thing to bake? Write that down in the chat for me. 1. 2. All done. Okay. So let me see. I have my eggs, vanilla. Great. So I have all my ingredients in. They're just not folded together. I still have my wets and dries separate. So now I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients together, and I'm gonna fold in my eggs and my butter. I'm pretty sure any chef watching would tell me that this is not the purpose of a whisk. I'd like to inform you that I don't care. I find it easiest to mix it all together with this. I'm so excited for next weekend. My mom and I are going to the beach, and I think that's gonna be so fun. My dad, my brother, and my cousin are off to do like bro hiking things in the wilderness, and my mom calls me and she says, hey, do you want to go look cute on the beach? Obviously, the answer was yes. So we're gonna go soak up the sunshine, where the men of the house are like, you know, having their masculine bravado weekend. Okay, so now my dry ingredients are all mixed up. I have a few sugar lumps, but this is not really a big deal. Don't worry about it. And I'm gonna take my butter and all the other fun ingredients and pour them in. Gonna need a spoon or something to scrape that out. Oh, we have an Italian. Is that Italian in the chat? Hi. Okay, there we go. And I'm just mixing till I get a nice like dough consistency. I have a fun question for you all. You can write in the chat. If you could only have one type of food for the rest of your life, what would you choose? I think I would choose eggs. I really enjoy eggs. I seem to not get sick of them, even though I have them basically every day of my life for breakfast. I'm not a organized cooker. I basically explode in the kitchen while I'm making something, and then we'll kind of put it back to rights later. But my dad will cook and it'll be completely clean while he's cooking because he kind of cleans up as he goes. But I hate cleaning the kitchen. So like if anyone else is around and I'm the one cooking, I really definitely want you to be the one to help clean up, because it's a lot less fun washing dishes than it is making cookie dough. I always find this part a little annoying because you're trying to get, you know, consistency in the dough. There's always little glumpies of sugar or flour that seem to stick together. But if you don't mix the wet and the dry ingredients first separately, then it's an absolute headache at this point. So it makes it like a little easier to separate them initially. think next time we're gonna have to do a healthy meal prep. I talk a lot on my channel about the importance of healthy eating for your, mental mindset and for your glowy skin. And I think it'd be very helpful for the girls to, see some good meal prep recipes that would be helpful for lunchtime to make your work week easier, but also, to make sure you're still eating healthy and sticking to whatever meal plan you're trying to stick to. Nice. Alright, so if you guys can see now, I have a nice kind of doughy consistency to everything, and that's what we're going for. I still have a few more clumps that I'm just going to try to get out real quick, but I'm generally very happy with this. It always seems a little too stiff when I'm making this kind of cookie, and that is because it's going to be a fatty, like chewy cookie. If you make ones like the Nestle Toll House ones, they're a lot easier to mix up because they kind of smoosh everywhere. Oh, thank you. That was sweet of you in the comments. All right. So I really like my dough right now. I'm very happy with it. And now you always want to wait till last to put these in, because if you don't wait till later, the kind of chocolate will melt everywhere. So you want the chocolate chips to stay in chip form. So wait till kind of the very end to put these in. And it says 2 cups, and this is just 10 ounces. So we're going to put the whole thing in because it really doesn't matter that much. Where are my scissors? All right. I love baking so much. It's usually like a late night habit for me, because whenever I have trouble sleeping, doing something tactile really, really helps me. So whenever I'm, in the kitchen making sweets, my roommates know that Emily had trouble sleeping last night, but they always appreciate it because obviously they get all of the extra baked goods. Nice. So now all my chocolate chips are evenly distributed and they're ready to be made into little cookie dough balls. And I like to make them the size that the cookie's gonna be before it goes into the fridge, because then I just have to like individually pick up and plop them into the oven. I don't need to like reform them. But I know some people like to take the dough and then they'll freeze it and it lasts forever. So whenever they're ready to make cookies, they just, take these guys, pull them out of the freezer, and kind of pop them in the oven. I think I'm gonna make them this week though, before I go hang out with my mom. So they don't need to be in the freezer, they can just hang out in the fridge until I'm ready. Okay, so I always use a measure. This is technically an ice cream scoop. That's fine, it's the right size. They're gonna be nice giant cookies, so this is a perfect size for that. And I'm going to scoop them out onto like a parchment laden tray. So I get a scoop, and then I still use my little knife to kind of even them out to make sure that they're all about the same size. I get this, and then I just kind of squish them onto the tray. And you see, look at these really, really nice, uniform, like individualized cookie chunks. And you are more than welcome to eat the cookie dough batter if you so choose before making it in the oven. I'm not going to yell at you for that. I know if I make them at home, my dad and my brother will actually yell at me if I try to clean up stuff before they have a chance to like lick the batter, but they're not around, so do I know what? other exciting news, I will be making another video. It's all done, all edited and everything. I just need to post it for you guys. So that'll be live in probably a few hours. I just need to make a cute thumbnail for it, and then I'll post it live. It's all about the best self-care habits if you're a woman in your 20s. I'm 29 now, and I wish there was someone to kind of guide me as I was going through my 20s, because a lot of it was really difficult. And it's a, do you know what? Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I wish there was someone to guide me through my 20s, because it's a really uncertain time, and it feels like you have to figure out all of your life out before you're 30. You don't, I promise, like you have time. But whether it's, you know, the story that society tells us or our own expectations, there seems to be this narrative that you need to have met your perfect man, that you need to have 3 babies, that you need to be a millionaire, and that you need to find your purpose in life all before you're 30, which is an immensely unrealistic expectation for yourself to complete that in your first 3 decades of life. But I compiled all of my favorite self-care habits to help you guys to, you know, alleviate some of the stress that you can feel in your 20s, because I know I felt it, I know my friends have felt it, and it's always nice to have, you know, advice from someone who's been there, done that. Oh, also, all day I have had, who is it? Post Malone stuck in my head. And for the life of me, it is just like an endless soundtrack on repeat. So if we have any other, you know, fun music recommendations that I can use to kind of change the repeat track in my head, much appreciated. Please put it down in the comment section. I'm not a huge music person, so anything to help me discover new stuff, I always appreciate. Oh dear. Oopsie. Okay, nice. That's decent. I think this will make a good 12 big cookies. Is that ice cream? No, this is an ice cream scoop. But we're using it to make chocolate chip cookies, because I like the cookies to be all about the same size. So I use a little scoop to kind of portion them out, so when they're in the oven, they all bake pretty evenly. I really am in the mood for ice cream now that you've mentioned it. That one didn't come out very good. Yep, there goes Post Malone in my head again, guys. Almost got the last of them. Actually, it's going to be more than 12. That's surprising. If you were making a normal size cookie, it's probably supposed to make 24, this recipe, but these are definitely larger cookies than the author has intended. I always post the videos after I do live, so if you guys missed anything, you can always go back. Alright, this is going to be the last one. Nice. So recap, I actually made 15, so that was pretty good. That's pretty decent. Alright, these are all of my finished, you know, cookie dough balls, ready to go in the fridge. And like I said before, you really need to let the dough fully hydrate before you bake them. So they'll probably hang out in my fridge for about, I don't know, 2 days, and then I'll bake them after that. Do you love to make cookies? I love to bake many things. I think I like cupcakes better, and I really also like cookies. Not specifically these ones, all sorts of cookies in general. Okay, well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed, hanging out with me while I made these. I had fun, and I'll let you know how they come out. I've made this recipe before, so the picture in the thumbnail is these that I've made previously. So, bye guys. Have a nice day, and hopefully you don't get the Sunday scaries too bad before you go back to work. Bye.